Okay, let's figure out what we want to watch, okay? Because today is a YouTube content stream. So I'm gonna be doing some things that'll make for some good YouTube content for my editor to post, because we need more YouTube content. So chat, we're gonna go react to some videos today for YouTube. So one of the videos that we're gonna watch today. So why are shows taking so long to make? Unironically, I am so fucking sick and tired of shows taking forever to make. Okay, so like recently, Severance season 2 came out. If you guys don't know what Severance is, it is an amazing psychological like thriller horror show that came out on Apple Plus like a few years ago. Like 3 years ago, Severance originally came out. And 3 years later, they are just now getting around to making the second fucking season of Severance, season 2. I have been waiting for this shit for so long. I am tired of shows taking forever to make. Like, the gap between Invincible season 1 and season 2 was genuinely unbearable. Holy fuck. We need shows to stop taking so long to make. I'm tired.
Are you tired of waiting 2 years for 8-episode seasons, and the quality of said seasons may not even be that great to begin with?
Yes! Yes, I am! Yes! I'm tired of waiting 2 to 3 years for a single season of TV. And by the time that the second season comes out, I have to go watch a fucking recap video on YouTube. Or I have to just rewatch the whole series from the start. But you know how long it takes to just rewatch a whole series where I already know what's gonna happen? Because it came out so long ago that like I kind of vaguely remember the show, but not really, so I need to go back and watch it so I can get like everything together. I didn't. Uh-oh, y'all. I accidentally muted it. Y'all. It's getting kind of hazy. Let's go back.
Seasons may not even be that great to begin with? If that's a yes, and it most definitely is, then come take a seat and let's explore why shows are taking so long to be made and what's led us here. Before we start this journey, let's do a little exercise to exemplify how bad this has gotten. So, how old were you when Stranger Things started?
I don't know how old I was when Stranger Things started, but I know that I started watching it back in 2016. That's when I first watched it, and it was season 1. And I think it was very shortly after season 1 came out, or very shortly after I watched season 1, season 2 came out. I believe like that was like the timeline for me, is that like it was like right after I finished season 1, season 2 had just been announced or whatever.
Just simply asking you this question probably makes you have a minor crisis, because that was 8.5 years ago. And the crazy thing is that Stranger Things is only 4 seasons long.
That's fucking insane. It's been 8 years. It's been 9 years since it came out. And brother, all the actors are old as shit. It's like, okay, I'm gonna be so real with you, especially for a show where the fact that all the actors are children is like a very big part of the show. Taking 9 years to finally get to like maybe the final season is insane, dude.
And season 5 probably isn't coming out until late 2025. Almost a decade after its premiere. Shows used to be far simpler in the past, and that's partially why we had shows like Star Trek that were able to output dozens of episodes a year. Utilizing one primary set and shooting exterior scenes locally was very efficient. Although, for today's standards and with how blockbuster-oriented television has gotten, it can take a really long time to film these shows. Creating numerous elaborate sets, filming across the globe, and having expensive CGI takes a long time to execute. Studios are pushing shows with more ambitious stories done on a massive scale because they want that Game of Thrones money. This is a fundamental shift the industry has taken, and these types of big
yeah, the fucking gap, no, that's so crazy. The gap between Squid Games, like season 1 and season 2 was like, what, 2 years? 3? Holy shit! Why?
Shows are now more common. And something that's especially fueling this fire is the competitive nature of streaming services. HBO used to be the primary service that did this, and was built on a brand of providing home box office entertainment. Now every service strives to provide that, and they're all fighting for your attention. Amazon spending over $1 billion just on the Rings of Power.
Man. How the fuck do you spend $1 billion on this dog shit show? Oh my god.
Netflix releasing high-budget content basically every week. Apple shelling out millions just to get A-list stars in their shows. We're essentially in a hurricane of companies spending billions just to get a subscription out of you that you hopefully forget about and pay in perpetuity. For the non-tech company streaming services, this is unsustainable because they don't have the luxury of making billions outside of their streaming service. Going down that road would be going off topic.
Net income this year is 93 billion and Amazon is 49. That's so fucking insane. Holy shit. Apple is bigger than Amazon in terms of like the net income? Wait, really? Is that true? Jesus.
Even though it's a pretty scary one in which it seems like these big tech
I could buy like a pizza with that. That's true. You could buy at least one pizza.
companies are cannibalizing film studios, and there may be a bit of consolidation in the future. But going into another reason why shows are taking longer to make is that most shows aren't being greenlit until months after release. Some streaming services are bigger perpetrators than others, but the worst is probably Netflix. So much time is being wasted where creators are simply waiting to hear about their show's fate. A recent example of this was even one of Netflix's most popular shows, Wednesday, where it was renewed a month and a half after its release.
Oh, yes?
That show was insanely popular from the get-go, so it's really surprising that even at the high end, it can take a show a while to be renewed. So this means that through the entire process of post-production, which can be a few months to even 9 months, like in the case of House of the Dragon Season 2.
I think Apple is the first company valued at more than $1 trillion. I'm not going to look that up. I'm just going to trust
releasing
that
the
you're right.
show, and this varies as some shows release weekly, and that can take months, and then waiting an additional period of time after that for renewal. This comes out to over half a year for most shows, where creatives can at least start the writing process and break the story for future seasons. This is a bit hard to judge as every show is different and some may start the writing process before renewal, but I highly doubt that applies to most shows, given how long the gap of time is between when filming starts for Season 2 and when that first season was completed. Although, scripts in general take longer to write in comparison to the past. Writing episodes of complex shows with dozens of characters who all have arcs, there being multiple subplots, writing captivating dialogue, and coming up with an engrossing plot is very time-consuming. Let alone having that all come together and weave into a coherent season of television. Compare this to serialized shows where each episode follows a strict
fucking serialized show like Grey's Anatomy where like it's like there's like maybe a loose plot between each episode, but it's like effectively each episode is like its own self-contained thing. Jesus Christ. White moms love Grey's Anatomy.
Format, and the plot is relatively simple, and you start to see why writing takes so long now. That's why some shows may peak with their first season, as the creators had years to work on their scripts, but then it falls off in Season 2 because they have a fast encroaching deadline. This is why I'd argue that you should pay your writers
I'm a white woman.
year-round,
Yeah, we're
so they're
killing you.
constantly fine-tuning and perfecting the scripts, while also working on future
But even is Grey's Anatomy, it is a show that follows doctors in a hospital. And it's like known for being absurd. It's been going on for like at least a decade. Like, oh, maybe like 2. It's insanely long.
seasons for popular shows in advance. This does incur a bit of risk in terms of whether or not a show will be cancelled, but paying a few writers is extremely minor in the grand scheme of production costs. In the earlier days, every aspect of production was constantly churning around the clock. Studios were simultaneously
Season
writing
20
while
is
filming and
crazy.
editing was occurring. Even kind of recently, The Walking Dead was able to deliver 16-episode seasons yearly. Imagine that show being made in this day and age, where each season is 8 episodes long, and it takes 2 years to deliver that.
Dude, that's so fucked up to think about. Holy shit. That is so fucked up. And all the episodes on fucking Walking Dead were like an hour too, I think.
It would take a whopping 44 years for that show to finish its run, assuming it kept all of its episodes and it wasn't cut down. I don't know about you guys, but the thought of even a show taking a decade to deliver 4 to 5 seasons is nauseating, and some shows are even taking 2.5 to 3 years to make, like Wednesday Season 2. Although, that could also be from the strikes. This absolutely crushes a show's popularity because you simply can't retain a person's interest for that long. On top of it being difficult to
I'm sorry, I thought about Arcane and the fact it took, like, it also took, like, what, 3.5 years for Season 2 to come out, and I got mad. But, like, I get it, because, like, Arcane is, like, a beautifully animated show, and it's great, but, like, even then, it took, like, what, 3.5 years to come out, and it came out a little stinky because the show was very rushed in terms of the story. It's like, but it's like, would I rather have the rush story where I at least get my finished ending, or would I rather wait another 3.5 years for them to do a Season 3 to, like, watch it? Jesus, y'all.
retain all the detailed and nuanced information that the last season provided. So normalizing developing scripts way before renewal can easily save months of time between seasons. Or there's an even bigger solution that doesn't seem to be used often enough, in which you order shows in batches. Instead of developing 1 season at a time, they're developing 2 and are filming seasons back to back. This is how a show like Slow Horses is able to overcome the hurdle of long waits between seasons, and they're already at Season 4 within 2 years. Most Apple shows besides Severance generally average 1 season a year, which is great. Popular Season 1, and they're already at
He mentioned Severance. Severance mentioned, hold on.
Season 4 within 2 years. Most Apple shows besides Severance generally average 1 season a year, which is great.
I want Severance so bad.
Popular Season 1s or shows that are deemed to be most likely successful should be developing multiple seasons at once. However, it seems like streaming services are only committing to additional seasons of television with absolute certainty that they're a success, which is fair.
Yeah, no, it's like, I get it. It's like, okay, it makes sense that it's like they don't want to renew another season unless they know that it's like a good show, but like I get it. It's like that, like they have to like choose like about like are they gonna risk like making multiple seasons of a show that flops, or are they just gonna like just like make sure that it's not a flop before they make another season? I get it. I do. It's, but like, you know, I mean, if you're making a show, I don't know. I feel like maybe like you should have self-awareness if the show's gonna be good or not.
But at the same time, they're drastically underestimating the long-term negative effects of viewers being burnt out on waiting extreme durations for shows to return. And since this has become a norm, viewers may be more reluctant to start a new show and will wait for more seasons, which turns into this self-fulfilling prophecy where not enough people are watching Season 1, so the show inadvertently gets cancelled.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. Like, especially with like anime, where it's like, okay, as an anime fan, okay, or like a person who watches anime, I am tired. I'm so tired of watching Season 1 of an anime, like 12 episodes, and then waiting like years for like another season, or potentially like just like the show never gets another season again. Like, I just want to watch an anime where I get to see the ending of it. It is so rare for me as like a fan of anime, where it's like I don't read manga that much. But I try to, but like I mostly watch anime. It's so hard for me to like feel like anything is worth watching if I can't see like an ending to it, right? Or if I just get left on like another cliffhanger, dude. Like, I just want to see an ending. You feel me? Imagine being Devil's a part-time worker fan and waiting 13 years for Season 2 and it comes out like that, dude. It's fucking rough. Like, it does like make me like do the thing where it's like, oh, I'll just wait until there are more seasons out, or I'll wait until part 2 of Season 1 comes out, because they made 6 episodes for Season 1, and then 3 months later they air part 2 of Season 1, which is the other 6 episodes, because for some reason they couldn't air all 12 episodes or all 24 episodes in one go. They just had to fucking like split it up into 2 parts with like a 3-month gap. Fuck you, dude. Fuck you for wasting my time. And so I do the thing where it's like, oh, I'll just wait until the whole season's out, and then I forget to watch it, and I just never watch it. Dude.
Shows that kind of fall into this category that got good reviews and were canceled early were Chaos and 1899. Both of those shows seemed intriguing, but I had that thought in the back of my head that I should wait to watch them because their season 2 probably won't come out for a very long time. Only to see that in me waiting and that sentiment probably being shared among other viewers, those shows did in fact get cancelled. Another funny dichotomy surrounding this conundrum is that we're also simultaneously receiving less episodes when it's taking longer to receive these less episodes. We've gone from 20 episode seasons, which to be fair, generally weren't high production quality, to 13 episodes, then to 12, then to 10, then to 8.
Fuck.
And now even some shows are 6 episodes long. We're getting to a point where miniseries are starting to be longer than an entire season of television. I've seen this happen in real time for a show like Doctor Who, where they went from 13 episodes to 6 to 8 episode seasons. Their reasoning at the time being that they'll focus their efforts on a smaller amount of episodes, thus increasing their quality. And hey, guess what? The quality happened to dive off a fucking cliff, so that didn't matter. But more recently, Dune Prophecy came out with 6 episodes, and that show finished filming a year before they released their first episode. So if that process is to repeat, you're looking at 2 to 3 years for a second season with 6 episodes, which to me is pretty laughable and flat out doesn't make me want to watch these shows. They'd have to be Shogun level quality to merit attention, and if they get mediocre reviews, then why even bother? They just took all this extra time to give us a product that isn't even that good. Which, this especially applies to Disney+, but they're kind of an exception from how terribly run most of their shows are, and some shows didn't even have showrunners. I'm starting to get the impression that
Disney Plus is just such a fucking, like, mess. It's, like, in general, Disney is, like, a disaster. Like, they are in their... they are going through it right now, and I'm like all here for it. Like Star Wars is so bad right now, and then Marvel is so bad right now. So like the two biggest things that like you would want to like watch Disney for, which is Marvel and Star Wars, like both of those fucking suck right now. So like thank God. I hope that they realize that what they're doing is bad.
these streaming services are trying to get away with giving us less content while they increase the price of their subscriptions. Netflix alone has doubled the price of their highest tier in the last 10 years, while also cracking down on password sharing. I get that these shows are expensive to produce, but if it's so crippling to make them, then there are solutions like decreasing the scale of these shows so they aren't insanely ambitious. It's okay to make smaller scale television shows that are both cheaper and quicker to produce. Expensive VFX is by no means a necessity to make a show great.
I'm so sad that that The Witcher ended up sucking as much as it did. I'm so sad that this show like sucked, dude. It's just Henry Cavill was such a great actor for Geralt, and it just sucks that that none of the writers like cared at all about it at all. They were just like, whatever. Henry Cavill's a fucking nerd anyway. He's just some nerd fucking bitch who like fuck him. Am I right?
To make a show great, some of the best shows on television barely use any. Crafting engaging and exciting stories should always be the priority, and just because something has a high budget doesn't mean it will be a good show. Like the more Game of Thrones went on and the budget increased, the worse the writing got, and ironically, the first 4 seasons were the best. The audience values great and riveting writing far more than anything else. One last reason that may delay shows more is an increase in strikes. 2023 saw 2 separate large strikes via the Writers Guild of America and the Screen Actors Guild of America striking. The Writers Guild in particular went on strike for 6 months, and their demands weren't even that crazy. They basically wanted residuals that streaming services were subverting, a pay raise, writers' rooms having a minimum staff number, protections from AI, and some other benefits. That all seems pretty fair, and it still took streamers half a year to accept these terms.
Isn't that so fucked up? That they had to like go on strike for 6 fucking months without a job? Just so that they could like get some basic rights for their job to like prevent them from being replaced by AI and just like be able to like have like a livable income. That is so fucked up. They get it. It was worth it. It was worth it for them.
Now, with how much AI is progressing, more strikes are all but an inevitability in the future. What's stopping shows from using AI video to replace expensive CGI shots? They could literally save millions of dollars by doing that. Technologically, we may not be there yet, but AI is advancing extremely fast, and we may be at that point within a couple years. Hell, even Coca-Cola created an entire ad with AI video, and it'll be really scary if this encroaches on the TV industry. You may be skeptical about this, but we're talking about corporate CEOs who want to save as much money as possible and increase their profit margins at all costs.
Absolutely.
Another reason that may lead to more creative pushback via strikes that isn't AI related are streamers actively screwing over their creative partners. Whether this be through max deleting movies that were already shot for the purpose of tax write-offs, Apple screwing over John Watts in which they promised him his movie would release in theaters, only to go back on that and solely release it on Apple, which wasn't an isolated incident, or shows like Willow on Disney Plus getting permanently deleted and thrown into the void because Disney didn't want to keep paying residuals and other minor fees.
That is so
that
fucking
particular
insane.
Example is disgusting, and imagine 2 years of your passionate work being extinguished for the sole purpose of a company increasing their profit margin by a fraction of a percent. If that. And then times that frustration by over 100 because streaming services regularly do this. It seems like the distrust amongst creatives and streaming services is increasing by the year, and the more this happens, the closer we could be getting to more strikes.
I'm tired.
From the perspective of us,
boss.
the viewer,
I really am.
it seems like the best path forward is for executives to prioritize the happiness of their creatives. That especially bit Warner Bros. In the ass as they alienated Christopher Nolan with their approach of releasing blockbuster movies on streaming during COVID. Something that completely blindsided all creatives. Creating loyal partners that actively want to work with you leads to better business.
We love the shift to streaming, making films unwatchable legally after a few years. We're so up! I love it! I love streaming services! They make me so happy! Oh my god!
But yeah, we know that's not going to happen because profits are all these companies care about, and they often lose sight of larger ramifications of their
they're companies. All they care about is profits. You don't make a company to fucking lose money.
Actions.
We're a pure storytelling company, and we've been fighting to get the greatest creatives to come work at Warner Brothers. We have all the assets. We have a diversified portfolio. In order to create great storytelling, we need great writers.
Seems like their favorite place to cut the budget is with writers, robbing them of creativity and robbing them of people training up to be the showrunners of future shows.
And everybody deserves to be paid fairly.
Yeah.
It seems like it could be an inevitability for their despicable actions to indirectly spur more strikes in the future, putting more shows on massive production pauses. So yeah, overall, from ballooning bloated budgets, and shows having massive scales that take an extreme amount of time to realize, waiting too long to greenlight shows and not regularly ordering seasons in batches, there possibly being more strikes, leads to this unfortunate place the industry is in, where we have to wait years for one season of television. Then to make matters worse, those seasons are probably only 6 to 8 episodes long, and I'm going to scream if that number goes down to 5 episodes within the next few years. They may as well just make these seasons movies, something that Disney should honestly be doing. Thank you for watching, and let me know in the comments.
Yeah, Disney making like an 8-episode season of a show that really could have just been a movie, like the fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi. The fucking Kenobi show or whatever, that could have just been a movie. That why did we do it? 24 episodes to 21 to 15 to 12 to 8 to 6? That's fucked up, dude.
If there's anything else surrounding this topic that I didn't touch on, my Letterboxd, Discord, and Patreon links are in the description, and have a great day.
Anyway,
thank you incredibly.
That was a good show. That was actually not a good show. That was actually a wonderful video. I was just interested in watching it, just because the title is just why are shows I'm so mad right now. It just how long shows are taking to make it genuinely fucks me up. And it's not just live action TV too. This applies to like anime. This applies to like Netflix or like Apple or like whatever. This applies to like everything I'm watching. Everything is taking forever to make, and I just want to watch my TV and anime without waiting 3 years between each fucking season. Sorry. Hi, Toby. Hi!